Hey Supermom! We know every mom has a desire and the ability to be a supermom who does it all. So tune in to the Crunchy Supermom Show and let's design a holistic life that fits. Hey Supermoms, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mandy.
And we're your hosts and the creators of the Crunchy Supermom blog. If you missed the last 2 episodes of our New Year Refresh, be sure to check out episode 6, where we talked about ways to clean the whole house all year long in small, manageable steps. And we gave our listeners loads of ideas on practicing more self-care in 2017 in podcast number 007. But in this episode, we're talking about food and finances and how a food routine can save you time and money. And to find the show notes on this episode, go to crunchysupermom.com/008. And let's just get to it. You're going to get to know more about us by tuning in. Oh, and by the way, you should subscribe at iTunes or Stitcher Radio or Google Play so you never miss an episode. Now, part of my crazy beginning of every year, like every New Year routine, includes clearing out my pantry, my cupboards, and kind of doing a version of a spending freeze. Some people call it like a no spend month or something like no spend January. Well, I kind of like to do this for a couple of reasons. One's to kind of scrub out all of my food storage areas. I do this more regularly than just once a year, but this is when I really take it out and go over it with a fine-tooth comb. And I like to reset kind of my home inventory to kind of reflect on last year, like how much did I spend? Like, did I over budget, under budget, and order too much produce or order too much animal product, since we have to ship it in. And finally, I kind of do the spending freeze to sort of detox from all that holiday spending and kind of reset the budget for 2017. Because we set an annual savings goal that's different from just like our regular savings. So we always have goals and we start that over in January. But and food is the second largest budget category for me. What about you, Mandy?
Yeah, definitely the second largest. And honestly, if we weren't really careful, it would be our largest. It may even be equal some months.
Yeah, I've been there. Definitely.
It is bad. We could spend more. If I could, if we didn't budget ourselves, I would just be spending so much more because there's so many awesome foods out there, and they're never affordable. It doesn't seem, you have to really, plan and budget for Whole Foods. So yeah, my New Year routine for food and finances is actually pretty simple because I just basically reevaluate what's been working and what needs to be altered. And because I run a co-op and I order almost all our food either from our co-op or other co-ops in the area or online, I actually end up doing my inventory about once a month. And so that means I typically do our food budget, clean out the pantry and freezers, and meal plan and order all once a month, which doesn't seem like a lot when I say it, and yet it seems to come up very fast for me. I'm like, it's already time to do that again.
Well, it technically comes up every 3 weeks. It's not even a whole month.
It's true. And you're like, it's already here. It's a nanosecond. But right now, I'm down to my last few months of pregnancy with baby number 5. So I'm really trying to change up our food routine in preparation for that newborn phase. And I don't even know if it's a routine or a system. I don't even know what I would call it. But you know how you sometimes can get into react mode with your food? Where you're like, oh, let me just throw this together real quick because I didn't follow my meal plan.
Yeah.
And that's okay right now because my youngest is almost 3, so she can have some more patience or play with her siblings or something, but it does not work with me at all with a newborn. And I have to be prepared all the time, and otherwise things start to fall apart. And and also with creating this new routine or system, I'm finding that by doing this, and it's an easy way to share it with my husband so he can actually jump in and help more. And a lot of the times I think I was trying to do everything and feeling really frustrated, and he was too, because I couldn't really adequately explain how he could help. And so talking through it together and coming up with a new routine based on the season of our lives. It's been great for both of us, and I'm really hoping that our new plan will work. But if it doesn't, we're just going to adapt and modify it and try to improve. But so far, it's looking like it's going to be better and work better for us. And honestly, the not being willing to adapt, I was kind of viewing it as like a failure, like if my routine didn't work, I'm failing. But I stopped that and realized it's just better to go ahead and scrap that routine or take out the parts that don't work and move forward.
Definitely.
I don't want to feel bad anymore.
Makes total sense.
So what part of your food routine do you think saves you the most time and money? Because that's going to be what listeners probably really want to know.
Right. That's definitely, that's what my vision was with, talking about this today, is kind of talking about, you don't have to start a new diet in 2017 or give up sugar or coffee or some like major change to really, make a fresh start to 2017. I feel like you can create a routine around your food that's going to save you time and it's going to save you money. And my whole routine, and it sounds like this is the truth for you too, is like my whole routine is critical to saving me time and money, but it definitely begins with a meal plan. I think that's one thing that you just can't go wrong with. And we really go in depth on this topic at Supermom HQ, our exclusive membership area. We've created a great bundle of resources for our listeners. However, if they go to crunchysupermom.com/008, we're going to list out the steps that we're going to cover here, and basically how do you save time and money when it comes to food and having a food routine. And both of us have mentioned this, the pantry clear out. And that's really simple. And just getting things down to almost nothing is something I like to do. And you don't have to do that. Do you do that every month, or is that just naturally how you guys like get down to nothing?
we really, it's kind of like natural because our food comes in once a month, pretty much. So yeah, we're like at the end, we're like, well, what can we scrape together here?
Yeah.
But sometimes we have things that are left over, or I do buy in bulk, so we'll have things left. But yeah, we try to clear out most of the food once a month at least.
Right. And I actually well, I love the first week, when all your food comes in and you're like, yay, and you
have food again.
Like, I have everything.
We can eat what we want.
Yes. I love that first week. And I also love the last week. I love just that sense of not wasting food. And I mean, I've made some crazy stuff and it turns out fine. And I love just that sense of not wasting food and using up remnants of things like empty bags. I mean, I've put orzo and orzo and barley together one time in like my Instant Pot. I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing it because it probably won't turn out. It was a fluke, but it just like came out really well. And, just those little remnants of stuff. Yeah. But I love doing that. I think everyone should do a pantry clear out. I think every month before you kind of make your meal plan, and we have some recipes, like we call them garbage recipes, to use up things that are just hanging out in your home before you go, shopping for the month. And I do inventory tracking. Do you have any kind of specific method for that, Mandy?
No, but I really would like to. I have it set up in my pantry where I can see a lot of things. So I guess it is rotated out. But nothing like on paper or on an app or anything like that on my computer, but I can visually see it. And next goal is to have my freezer that way, because right now it's so packed that it's not possible to do very good inventory.
Yeah, it's hard. I keep a clipboard by the freezer because I don't want to, it's so cold. Like I won't dig around in there. And if you're like, I swear there's another chicken in here somewhere, like I don't want to be digging for it unless I know. So we are very strict about the freezer.
That's really good
on the clipboard. But I'm the same way with the pantry. But I've noticed with Vitacost and now with Thrive Market, the two online resources that we both use, or I mostly use both. You kind of stick to Vitacost, but I like how they just have like what you've ordered in the past and you can reorder it. I love that because like this month when I did my order for January, I could see that I ordered 6 coconut milks in December, and I had one in the cupboard. So I knew that we had used 5. So I went ahead and ordered 5 more. And it's kind of neat. Just kind of, because I consistently order from them. I don't shop around and do other things. So
That's the same for me. Like there, it is. Online ordering can take you a long time, or at least I feel like in some areas of my life, I feel like it takes me a long time. But now for the grocery, like, our groceries that we buy online, it doesn't take me any time because, like you said, you know how much you ordered last month, and I know what I've used because I can easily see it, and I can just go through and like click. It takes me, 10 minutes to order, which is amazing.
And I think and this is step 3, is having a meal plan. Yes. Even if you make 5 different recipes every single week, they use kind of the same ingredients for the most part when you're eating a real food diet. I can almost guarantee that I'm either going to have diced tomatoes, homemade diced chilies, or sometimes I buy the canned, or coconut milk, or coconut aminos, or soy sauce. It's going to have like one of those things in there for the most part for us, because we use, we like the same food. My family and I, like, we try to repeat the recipes, but even still, like, I can kind of guarantee.
The same sort of things in each one.
Yeah. So I can just order my staples from Vitacost or Thrive Market and just know that I can make pretty much anything, and I can spend the same amount of money every month and be good.
Right. And for me, that's huge too, because when I go to a store or I go to the grocery store, it is nothing for me to be like, oh, this looks so, everything looks so good. And you're like, I want to try this, or I will just load up my cart, even if I don't mean to, and overspend. But whenever I see the total on somewhere like, where I'm shopping online for things, I'll take it out and I'll fix it and I'll alter my meal plan or whatever I need to do to get it to where our budget needs to be. So that is huge for me.
It's so amazing. That happened to me, like with I just put in that Wilderness Family Naturals order recently. And so I just threw everything I thought I would want into the cart, as much as I thought I would want. And then I went through and just edited it because I had set a specific amount I wanted to shop, because I'd already ordered. This was kind of in addition to my, staples through Vitacost and Thrive Market. Yeah. So it's so nice because I'm like, oh, I can feel really good about trying something new, because I ordered some like new freeze-dried fruit powders to put in our herbal infusions. I was like, oh, well, cool. I stayed under budget with it, and it just helps. And I don't know. Going to the store, it definitely blows my budget. I just checked out a new store down the road I'd never been to, because we live right by the Whole Foods, but down here it's it's not a real Whole Foods. I'm sad to say. It's terrible. But I went to this place called Fresh Market. Oh, yeah. And it was so beautiful inside.
Yes, they are. They really are. And you just want to buy everything.
Oh my gosh. And it smells so good. And so I went down the salad aisle just because nobody carries this one paleo. It's super good dressing that I love to have on hand, just like as a backup, because herbs aren't doing so well down here for making my own stuff. And I went down the salad aisle and I was like, oh my gosh, they have sprouted organic croutons. Sprouted. Yeah. If it says sprouted flour, I pretty much will, go crazy. But then I did the good thing and I looked in the back and it had some like nasty oils, and I'm like, darn it, it was such a good thing. Right. But normally I would just go down the aisle and be like, they have sprouted this. They have raw, dehydrated nuts and seeds ready to go in your salad, right? Like this tiny bag for $15.99.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. So it's dangerous to go in the store.
It is for me. We don't have a Whole Foods or Fresh Market very close. So it's really easy. Yeah. But if I go anywhere and we travel, I'm like, oh, I can't always get this or this. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. And then if the kids are talking to you, there's like no way that you can focus on your budget. I'm like, forget it. It's not worth it. Just buy it.
Right. And, so that's the thing, is like having the meal plan and shopping online. I know there's like the buy local, the locavore like thing that's going on. And I do try to buy my produce locally.
Right. But there's some things you can't.
No. And honestly, it's one thing if it's like, okay, 60 cents less to buy it online and at the store. That's one thing. But it is literally, some things are literally $4 to $5 less per jar to buy online, not on sale, not with a coupon, than buying it at my local Whole Foods. So I just can't. My family's health is more important to me than being a local shopper. Maybe I do try to like buy other things, like knick-knacky things that you're overpaying for locally, but I just can't do that with food because it's so important. Food is our medicine. Food is like the key to our wellness. So I'm all about the online thing, and I don't comparison shop once I don't at Vitacost. I don't switch brands really that much. Do you?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time I figure, like, I pretty much have what I want, and I can't really get it locally anyway. So,
Right.
like, I want a certain kind of tomatoes in a glass jar, and I get those every month, and I can't get them locally anyways. So it's not. I mean, I do understand what you mean. And people were saying, it's killing small farmers. I'm like, but those are farmers. It's not like I'm going to hurt Harris Teeter by not shopping there, really.
Right.
Because and anyway, they still don't have what I want. So yeah. I think online for certain things, online is definitely the way to go.
Right. Right. So, and having your meal plan beside you when you do the online shopping, and then you know what you need to buy in store, and you know what you've already spent getting your staples online, then you can just go to the store and say, I've got, $70 left to get whatever.
Yes. You have to get
every week, local produce or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and then, step 5 in this plan for everyone is kind of that developing hacks and preparation methods that do take time. Like we threw these 4 steps out, the pantry clear out, the inventory taking, meal planning, and then shopping. Those are 4 steps. And the 5th one is just to keep repeating it until you develop kind of your own personal hacks and preparation things, whether it means like, doing the pantry clear out and then going shopping right away and then meal planning from that. I mean, whatever it is, you're going to develop that routine. But the important thing is just, I think it really comes back to the meal plan and inventory. It's just knowing what you've got on hand, how much you use of every month, and what your meal plan's going to, call up for you. Mm-hmm. And then step 6 is, that reducing waste with garbage meal nights. What other, I don't know, do you still do garbage meals pretty often, or?
We are just, my big thing is we won't waste it. We will just eat it. And so even if that's my husband and I eating whatever it is left over or whatever, and not forcing on the kids once again or whatever, because they're crying over one more leftover meal. But I'm like, we basically committed to like not wasting food, and it did make a difference in our budget. And so even if we don't necessarily want to eat it, that garbage meal or leftover again, we do. And it made a big difference in our budget.
Yeah, it really does. And like for us, I'll just throw it in the freezer if I feel like I just don't want to eat it the next day. Like I'm just throwing these things in the freezer, and it's been kind of funny. I'll pull them out and I'm just like, I don't have any idea what this is, but I'm pretty sure if I just put it on some homemade taco shells with sour cream, like it'll be okay.
You're right. Yeah. So I'm like, for us, like budget is so, healthy food and budget, like what we're talking about, is huge. So I'm like, we're going to have to just suck it up and eat it.
Yeah. I do that with the kids too. I'm like, what do you need? Ranch or ketchup tonight? I'm like, whatever it takes, let's just dunk it.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to. And so, they've gotten used to that. One more thing I was thinking about in step 5 with the preparation and hacks, because that's where I'm like really focusing on right now, is, it's a huge part of the step, or I think it can be if you don't have a lot of free time or, to make whole foods. And because for a long time I was like, this sounds nice, I think I'll make this, and then scrapping it off my meal plan because I didn't have the time. And then you end up wasting that way almost. Not, I mean, you might use it later, but it could be months later.
Right.
Or sometimes things would go bad because I wouldn't use them. So to me, I think that's a huge thing. Like if you think you won't have time to make this fancy meal or something that's new, even because you just don't have the mental energy to put into thinking a new meal through, just wait and don't do it till you do. Right.
And this kind of actually happened to me last night, and you were bringing up, it's kind of reminding me how I deal with situations like that. I have a couple of homemade seasoning blends, and I'm not talking like a big jar that took time. Just like I have a recipe, I'll pull it out, like garlic chicken, harissa spice is another. And then I just tried this new one from Real Plans called grilled chicken. It's just a spice. You just mix it up and put it on whatever you've been thawing, that you were thinking you're going to cook that night. Just having those like 3 simple seasonings or marinades that you can just throw together and know that your family's going to eat it. that's so helpful. But the thing that this comes down to is just doing something, setting up a plan.
Yes.
A very, very simple plan. Don't plan like 3 meals a day, 7 days a week the first time. Like try 3 days, 3 meals, like 3 dinners and maybe 2 breakfasts or something.
Yes.
And repeat those many times and add something new occasionally. And then you kind of get in the groove. And that's what's happened to me. I've had the same meal planning service with Real Plans for 3 years that I can swap. I could take this entire week's recipes, throw them away, and add 7 times 3 new ones into my plan and still be able to do it because I've done it so long.
Right.
And my food's on hand all the time. It's pretty much the same kind of thing. I've eliminated anything we don't eat, like lobster tail or like oysters on a Tuesday night or, so like it's about making a plan, making a routine, and making it a habit. So
that's exactly it. That's it.
It is.
And reevaluating what doesn't work and what does work, and don't be afraid to change.
Right. So, and we have listed out these steps in pretty good detail for you in a power plan for our listeners. And you can get it at crunchysupermom.com/008. And we'll kind of walk you through it again. So don't feel like you have to remember everything that we talked about. And we'd like to invite you to continue this conversation and join us at our private community group of Supermoms, and we'll include a link for that as well. We do talk about food a lot in our group. So if you come over there and have a question, I'm sure that you will get an answer. So if I can't think of anything else, what about you, Mandy?
No, I think that was it. That's pretty much it.
Well, good. Well, we're going to link to everything we talked about in this show. Again, it's crunchysupermom.com/008. There we go.